Here is the weekly analysis for the third week of July. And since we are heading into the third week of July, we're going to do a look at what's been happening in this July candle so far, what could be indicating, and what we could be anticipating for the closure of the month. This week, don't have any real news releases other than the unemployment claims on Thursday, so we have that, and that's pretty much it. Monthly chart, dollar, we still have the dollar gravitating towards this fair value gap. We have not traded into it just yet. You can see the July candle shows as a consolidation candle. We'll get a more refined look on the lower time frames as to what has been happening for the month of July. But as it looks right now, it looks to be, just consolidating in the upper portion of June's price action, right? So you see we're above that midpoint of this range, of June's range. So that's a good sign as well to indicate that we could be possibly running into this area here. So we're still waiting for some bullish momentum to show us that it wants to start moving back towards this fair value gap area. Dropping down to a weekly. As you can see, the last few weeks, almost to a month now, the dollar has been in a slow descent lower. We do have this imbalanced area right here that we could be possibly looking for the dollar to hold up inside of and show some willingness to want to start to trade towards that level. Or we could have an instance where some liquidity could be engineered within this area and we possibly see something to the effect of this come lower and then we start to trade higher. Ultimately though, I want to see whether we can get back that run on these highs. I think that we're just waiting for that swing low formation to form, and that'll give us the idea that the dollar is ready to start to trade higher, right? So we do have as of right now, this weekly candle could close green. If this weekly candle closed green, then we will be bullish to seek out the high here at 109.97. So that is my idea. I would like to see some type of support. I would be anticipating for some type of support to come into this area here, and we start to go higher again to run on the 101.97 level. Here at the 99.54.5 level is my draw in the sand for this weekly chart on the dollar, on the bullishness for dollar. Right now we're bullish, eyeing a run into the fair value gap area. But if we were to come down and inverse this, trade through this, and then go here, a break below here would be my draw in the sand for putting bullish ideas or a possible run into this 101.97 area on hold, because not only will we have a violation of a supposed area where we're supposed to find support at and retrace back into, but we also have a change in our direction of delivery from buy side for the first time to sell side if it was to start to come lower. So we want to be anticipating a bullish dollar this week, possibly show us maybe possibly a run on these lows, at least a green closed candle, shall I say, not necessarily a bearish uh, a bullish week. It could be a bearish week, but as long as it trades back to the weekly open and closes green or closes higher than last week's candle close, then we should be looking for higher prices for the rest of July and heading into August possibly. Drop down to a daily. Okay, so we have that weekly fair value gap here, and we get a more refined look at price action here on this uh, daily chart. So what we have is the dollar had ran sell side liquidity last week with this move lower, and we could also say that it is starting to seek out sell side liquidity with the run below these two lows right here. So we could at least see an attempt to price to make a run back below these lows, and then possibly find some willingness to start to trade higher. If it is going to hold at this, with this, if this run on sell side liquidity is going to hold, we want to see it hold at this area in here where sell side was taken. We also have the midpoint of the weekly fair value gap here, and below here would be our change in the state, or a continuation, a continuation of the downward projection if the dollar is still bullish. So we want to see the market start to hold somewhere in this area right here, possibly find some type of bounce. And then again, down here is our weekly line in the sand. So for a weekly chart, for a daily chart, I honestly wouldn't want to see this market below price action below April's open. I don't even think it needs to come that low, but at the most I would like to see price being held this old weekly imbalance will possibly be the the uh the support, my weekly or my daily draw in the sand. So I wouldn't want to see it below here. Possibly see if we can clean this up a little bit. Yeah, so I don't want to see price coming below the this old weekly opening gap here. I want to see if we are still bullish that we get it back above there uh, by finding some support in this area right here right now. And again, if we do take out this low, then and there's no immediate reverse therefrom, then we're definitely going to be coming down into this 99.44A level. That would be highly likely. So to open up the expectations, we want to see a bullish close on the dollar. Doesn't necessarily mean that it has to look like it was a bullish week, but that, you know, by the end of Friday we have a bullish close. So if we do get some bearish delivery to the downside to begin the week, we can see that last week, I think Monday made the high of the week last week, right? So, and then Thursday or Wednesday made the low of the week. So we could possibly see some Monday, Tuesday move lower, or possibly even today serve as the low of the weekend, and we get some bullishness for the rest of the week. However it plays out, we want to be looking for the dollar to close bullish at the end of the week on Friday. NASDAQ. If we look at NASDAQ's monthly chart as of right now, what we have is that it has just traded below previous previous month's low. We are inside of this area of fair value for the monthly chart as well. And this looks like with about 10 days left in the month, we can anticipate that this will be a down close candle, unless we get the push for the next couple weeks. It looks like we can say that the draw and the objective has been met, running down on sell side liquidity. So let's drop down into a lower time frame and see what the month has been looking like from a weekly time frame perspective. And with this, again, this run, borders are super dark. Okay, that's better. Weekly chart. Here we can see that NASDAQ has just run sell side liquidity last week, and we want to see if there is some follow through with this run lower, or if this is that stop punt that we're looking for to take us back above previous all-time highs. It's quite uncertain now. This is definitely a area where we will want to wait for more information, because we can easily have a reversal from this area, right? We already are in a monthly fair value gap. The stock market has been very hot. This is the first run on sell side liquidity in this bullish run higher. So this could have easily been the engineer for sell side liquidity and then start to take us higher. And we also want to see if we can possibly get a run on this candle's low, especially with how bullish or how expansively it did trade below this low and closed last week in the bottom portion of the weekly range. So this is again, we don't want to assume that a resumption of the bullish trend is about to occur right now. This because we do have this swing that has just formed on the weekly, and that is a telltale sign that if the market is coming lower, that we're going to be coming lower for a while. So we want to wait and see. I think by Tuesday we should have a clear picture of whether we're going to make a run back on these lows once more, or if the market is going to reverse and or not necessarily reverse, but in this consolidation that it's been in, and continue the expansion higher from this move lower. Dropping down to, so for me, my line in the sand in this on this weekly chart would have to be for I would want to see this candle red with the draw on liquidity being previous week's low. And the only reason why I'm leaning that way is because of the fact that we did just have this swing form here, right? And this isn't a swing low until this weekly candle closes, and it has to close green in order for it to be a swing low to go higher. So until then, we're trusting the most recently formed swing, and although the objective has been met, we're still cautiously looking for that follow through, and last week's low being the draw on liquidity. this is we're going to assume that we get one more run below last week's low. And if we do get some follow through down into like May's open, some drop down to a daily. Line in the sand for the weekly is line in the sand for the weekly chart would have to be the closing below our monthly opening gap here at 28,072. That would have to be my line in the sand for bullish prices. The idea of us going higher on a weekly time frame, this would be the line in the sand. Because if we break below here, it's no other real draw, nothing in price that the market could be seeking out other than this imbalance here, right? So we could possibly see the stock market fall if we do get a run through this fair value gap, which I don't anticipate. So I want to see again. The only reason why we're anticipating the this week to close red is because of the fact that the most recently formed swing is this daily candle, or this swing high here that's been formed. The swing high, we want to be looking for the fourth candle to trade below the third candle on this swing. So if it does not, it could close green as well. It could be a consolidation candle, and then we would be anticipating that follow through for the last week of July to a daily. So again, we had that follow through. Onto a daily chart, we want to see whether price has some willingness to close above the midpoint of this wick right here on this candlestick that I'm measuring out. We move it right, you'll see that this is a long wick here. So we want to see whether we can have some trading to happen above this here. We also have a gap, it's a small imbalance, weekly gap here. That'll be right in that area too. So I want to see if we can get that follow through. This possibly be a retracement day today, but sometime during the week we set up a possible run back below this low. And again, bullish or bearish ideas would be on a pause if we get a close really above this mean threshold of this area here. I want to see some follow through down into the fair value gap even lower if we are still bearish and seeking out lower prices. So this will be where we will play for this week. Pretty much the same for ES. We have on the monthly chart, we have ES has not traded below its monthly low, and I don't anticipate ES to trade below its monthly low. ES, you see there is no price action below its monthly low, whereas you see Nasdaq, it already has traded below its monthly low, and so, but we also do not have that gap in ES that we have in Nasdaq with the separation between April's high and June's low. See that gap that exists in between those two reference points? There is no gap. You see it overlaps here in ES. So we want to see ES still be bullish to close the end of the month. So I want to see ES start to show some strength towards the end of the month, which also lends to the idea of us possibly flowing or finding support here at this fair value gap and ultimately trading higher. Although we still might be red on this month, it would be a good indication of bullishness if the S&P closed green for the month. So we're looking for S&P to close green for the month, and with that, we drop down to a weekly chart and we notice that we do have a swing formation that has formed, but we are a swing high formation that has formed, but we are still high up in this area of consolidation. So I'm definitely wanting to see S&P below last week's low to give us an idea of whether uh, the stock market could be coming lower. We also have this fair value gap that is still holding up in price. See, we found one bounce from it, found another bounce from it, and if the market does find its willingness to want to gravitate back towards it, I think that we're going to fall through it and trade lower possibly. On to the daily and S&P. Again, we're looking for that run below last week's low, which is here. And I am really inclined to believe that we could possibly be coming lower from how this daily chart is looking. If we can get a strong follow through today on the run below previous week's low, then we have room for a run below the low at 73.59, previous month's low at 72.95. But again, I don't necessarily think that we're going to come that low from how the monthly candle looks right now. anything can happen. But I would like for the monthly candle to not take, or for ES to not take last month's low for a bullish price action run back above previous all-time highs within the next month or so. If we take this low, this is problematic. If we take last month's low, it's problematic that we're uh, bullish for even the rest of the year. Really, yeah. If we take last month's low, so we're still looking for this month to possibly close higher for a run towards all time highs. And if it closes red, then we are looking to come below these lows, previous month's low. So that's what we got for ES, YM. YM's monthly has already traded above previous month's high, making its all-time high at the beginning of the month. So we want to see, with the objective being met for the month, have no real opinion about how this close could happen. Possibly red. Trade with a move with a run back down into the high of April or May. So see what that looks like. Down to a weekly chart. See that red line here. Notice that we also have a volume imbalance, or not a volume imbalance, but a weekly imbalance that'll show up on our lower time frame. We're going to label that a weekly imbalance. What that will be on that lower time frame. I want to see if we can get a close bullish for YM this week. I like that. I like the idea of that. Possibly get some strength in YM this week. And if we can, start that next phase of bullish expansion in YM. Dropping down to a daily, we can possibly see that old weekly opening gap, and there it is right there, our old weekly opening gap that we would like for you see that the market did come down into an old weekly uh, opening gap on Friday and find some bounce off of it. But this week did open up gapping lower. So we now have a weekly opening gap as right here as well. That could possibly serve as a resistance for higher prices. Actually, going to be a support for lower prices, possibly coming down into that new weekly opening gap, um, which is where we would be expecting for price to show some willingness to find support if we are indeed bearish. wouldn't want to touch this because of it just running this sell side liquidity. So I think it's off. YM also off limits right now. Depending on how Monday's morning's session is setting up, we could possibly get that run on last week's low in ES. So I'd be looking for a run there. But YM I wouldn't touch right now. And also, with NASDAQ running last week's low, also we won't want to touch that either. But Russell has not ran last week's low. So, or for previous week, the week before that. So we could possibly see a run into there. We have an old weekly opening gap for Russell here that we could possibly see a move down into. But we have this gap here that is providing the resistance for higher prices in the Russell. So we could possibly get some turnover seeking out a sell side liquidity as well from how this daily chart is looking. Monthly is also again traded above its all-time highs this month, so it did reach its objective, which was to make a run on the previous quarter high, or the previous month high rather. So if we drop it down to a weekly, we see that the red now it's a red candle is distributing off of that high. So right now with Russell, essentially we want to see if it's going to get back above this imbalance that will be old weekly gap on a lower time frame. This imbalance right here. If it can't find any reason to trade higher this week and possibly close green this week, again that doesn't bode well for stocks, bullishness in stocks. And here is that weekly opening gap here. And then we have last week's opening gap, right? That is also here. So we just got a lot of resistance that is causing for this consolidation. One thing is that we are not moving away after closing below, but just finding some reason to consolidate here. So want to see if we get some slip and down and possibly lower. If we don't and we get that close back above this opening gap, then we're looking for that all-time high again. So Russell, we want to see close bullish though. Gold. Gold monthly chart. You see that gold has not taken out its monthly low just yet. So previous month low just yet. So we're looking for that to happen. Or it can consolidate within the bottom portion of this range, and we look for that follow through in August. Nothing really to see here on this time frame. We are in this monthly imbalance here, so that's something. But I'm still looking for that run below last month low. Here we are. Nothing really standing in the way of getting that run. Just waiting for it. And then we have this small imbalance inside of this monthly fair value gap. Looking for that to possibly find some or provide some bounce once it does get there. But we are looking for bearish follow through on gold. daily. Daily chart in gold. See, we getting some uh some hold up here and the run below sell side. Got a slow lethargic move down, no gaps. Every single time prices came lower, it has rebalanced itself, came lower, rebalanced itself. So even if we get that trade below this last week's low, we can possibly see some pop running above all of this here. Once we do start to shift higher, get some bullishness. So we'll be looking out for that. As far as what we could be anticipating for gold, this is a no go for tomorrow. We have a swing high or a swing low that has just formed right after a swing high that has just been formed. So unless the market shows some willingness today to want to get back below Friday and aim for last month in the quarterly low, tomorrow will be a no touch day for gold. We will need more information for gold. And the same would be for silver. We are getting silver follow through, trading higher. It's been very bullish to open up the week so far. You could possibly see that be an inversion fair value gap. So I'm gonna wait. Obviously this isn't an inversion fair value gap just yet because this candle has not closed. So, but for how it looks right now, it looks like it's a good possibility that this will be an inversion. If we jump higher to the monthly chart silver, see right now we have taken out last month's low, previous quarter's low. So silver reached its objective and we are currently in this gap here. So I want to see if this could possibly be the reason why we get a bounce towards the end of the month to close red, but still respect the July open and trade higher for the week. So we do have a swing that has just formed. So if we are taking this swing that has just formed in this weekly chart into account, we will be aiming for last week's low. And we could get that fall back through, aiming towards. We do anticipate a bearish week on gold, so it's possible that we could get silver to come back below that low as well. It's not far-fetched, but we are getting some retracement to start the week off. We've got one run above here. Or what could be happening is that this is a quick move up into a rebalance with this bullish order block here and the resumption of price selling off Tuesday possibly. I want to see how what is the true direction that is happening right now. We see we got a lot of gaps formed around the open, so a lot of resistance that if it does break through here, we're definitely bullish in silver, looking for it to come higher. So follow through the weekly, we're gonna be looking for bearishness to happen. It's going to be our aim to get back below last week's low. And oil. Oil has rebounded pretty well after the war thing that has been being shown throughout the news with the escalation ramping back up. Monthly chart though already taken out last quarter's low, last month's low. Now we're getting that fast retracement higher. Okay, so we didn't take out last month. Okay, but on this, it shows that we did. Let's see. So it's showing that we traded below June's low on the monthly. That's probably okay. So we did trade below June's low on Monday with the opening. So we're getting that run back higher. Oil, this could possibly just be a retracement for us to come back lower though. If that was to happen, the war would the talks will have to start to happen again. Possibly see that once that happens. Great British Pound looking like it's headed towards previous quarter's high. So you can sustain this momentum higher. And the euro is very weak in comparison to gold. So that is an interesting, or the pound rather. So that is interesting. You see, pound is making a move towards quarterly high, whereas the quarterly high in the euro is very far away. So with a bullish dollar, wanting to see that, want to see if we can stay below this low right here, previous month's low, and not trade back above this high. Possibly get some trap liquidity here, and we start to roll over, and that will be a support for a higher dollar. Bitcoin, still want to see Bitcoin back above these highs right here. It's looking pretty decent. Just have to wait for it, and that is it for me.